Nice. Mic check. What up, epic consistent YouTuber, epic YouTubing times.
Yeah, what?
Ooh, another video. I know, hold your horses. Today we'll be playing Risk of Rain and talking about a topic of my choice, because who doesn't love variety? Anyway, today I thought we would just kick back, play some Risk of Rain 2, and in the meantime, I'm gonna pick a topic from a massive wheel that I invented, and we're just gonna roll with it. It's like improv. For the people that care about what I'm actually playing, because it's mostly just going to be me talking. So we're just going to do a standard run, medium difficulty with a few artifacts on, just try and get a win. Oh yeah, should be sweet. I'm actually going to turn off Survivors of the Void because it's been pissing me off lately. And yeah, we're going to have Command, Sacrifice, and Swarms. So I'm going to get like a bunch of items. There's going to be a lot of shit going on, and yeah, it's going to be fantastic. But now, for the new segment, look at this. I invented a wheel with a bunch of stuff on it. So we're going to spin it and we're going to get something really cool that we're going to talk about for the rest of the video. Come on, big money. Something good. Don't be boring. What is it? Animals. Today we're talking about animals. Very nice. Yeah, check out the white skin. That's right. Your boy's a Risk of Rain prodigy. Post-production me. Throw up if microorganisms are animals. Did you guys see that there was apparently some evidence of life on Mars? There was like I don't know, an ancient puddle of water or something of that nature. And they were like, yeah, something's here. Man, that'd be sweet. Finally go to Mars. Imagine hopping off Earth. First in my generation. Maybe I'll be the first person on Mars. Maybe that'll be my legacy. You know, humans may not be the first, and we most definitely won't be the last animal on Earth. If you're still with me and would love to... If you're still with me and haven't clicked off, let me know in the comments what animal you would want to be. I care deeply about all of my loyal followers. Let me know. It's kind of cool to see that purely from an evolutionary standard, we got lucky. Because what, we're derived from apes and gorillas. Just imagine if we weren't. Imagine if it was the other way around. We share something like over 80% of our DNA with like primates. And they're like, they're not dum-dums, but they're not us, you know? Imagine if it was the other way around. Imagine if we were the monkeys. I probably wouldn't even be able to fathom this conversation right now. I'd probably be like, I don't know, throwing my shit at like visitors in a zoo. Speaking of, as mundane as it would be, because you see people constantly refer to that like zoos are like a prison for animals and they should be in the wild in their natural habitat. Realistically, a zoo is the best outcome. As long as they're actually being properly cared for. Realistically, you're chilling. You're just sitting around, eating, in a simulated environment with all your other friends, instead of like, I don't know, in the thick of it, in the middle of like the Congo. Are there gorillas in the Congo? I have bad animal geography. But then you get into the whole thing about actual issues in captivity. You look at, like, I think one of the most common ones is killer whales in captivity. You see their dorsal fins collapse and they're unhappy and they're depressed. And then they get angry. But that's like, I don't know, that's a topic for another That's a topic for another video. We'll talk about, I don't know, animal rights. Speaking on killer whales, it is one of the coolest things that killer whales are arguably probably the most hostile, awesome, powerful fish. Are they a fish? It would count as a fish. I'm pretty confident a killer whale just counts as a fish. But they're out there, and they don't see humans as opposition. We're like the only thing that they won't like. Bro, imagine you're a whale, so you're massive. You're designed to kill. You're designed for high speed. The killer whale would never duck or fade. If anything came at it, it would fight it off. They fight great white sharks, but not humans. It's like a profound respect. They're literally built for war. Killer whales have like spots on them to make it look like big eyes, when realistically their eyes are tiny and little beady. They're like ants on their face. You could barely even see it. There's the video of the killer whale mother that rams into a great white shark and obliterates it in half a second. Imagine that was your opposition out in the water. I'm good. This video is starting to just turn into sea creatures. Don't worry, I'm going to stay on topic. And then you get into whole mythology of like half animal, half creatures as well. You could talk about centaurs. You could talk about uh, centaurs. I don't know any other half. What would Medusa be? Like half snake? No, it doesn't count. Oh, like a mermaid. Got him. Or a bird person. Animals are awesome. And then there's the whole argument of if you were an animal. Say you became a bird. Say you woke up tomorrow reincarnated as a bird. That would arguably be one of the best outcomes because you quite literally have flight. Like, it doesn't really get better than that. I don't know how I lived that. The concept of flight is just so cool. I don't know. I'd want to be an animal that has some level of consciousness. I don't want to be no jellyfish, no like krill. Imagine I got completely dogged and wound up as like a cockroach or something like that. Or a fly. Flies live for what, 3 days? Flies have no real time. Or actually, you know what, being a bee would be pretty sweet. Except for the whole, you know, you kind of have like a one shot at getting your get back. You know, like I don't imagine bees hold grudges very often because imagine like you could like try to kill, not even kill. You could kill one person and because of that result you die as well because half your body gets destroyed when you sting something. I'd be saving that. That's like that's a bee's ult. They get to use their ult once and if they pop it wrong, it's over. Well, it's over regardless. Actually, no, you know what? I'd hate to be a bee because because of how bugs work and their pheromones and that, you're essentially like mindless. You're like a drone bee where all they do is just go and get pollen back and forth. But then again, what would a bee's brain look like? The concept of being a bear would also be pretty sweet. All you really do is you just forage for food, have family, hibernate. Apparently hibernation is like not false, but I think hibernation isn't what we perceive it to be. I'm pretty sure bears don't sleep for 3 months. I think they just kind of slow down everything. But you're still out there in like the harsh winters and that where bears live. Except bears live in California. Like black bears. That's got to be awful. Bears are built for cold climate. That's like wearing a double winter coat everywhere you go and then it's like 30 degrees. Or for Americans it'd be like, what, 90? Is that how Fahrenheit works? Fahrenheit is stupid. Fahrenheit is like how it feels on a scale of 1 to 100%. So say it was like really hot outside, you'd be like, damn, it's 90 degrees. And then here we're like, yeah, it's hot when it's past 20. Because Celsius is superior because it's scientifically backed. It's not just guessed. Because what was the whole thing about freezing water? It's like, yes. Well, for something to be frozen, it's 0 degrees Celsius. And then some American was like, frozen water should be 46 degrees. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean? 46 degrees here, you would evaporate. When I say here, I say Australia. God, where would you even find 46 degrees? Like the center of Uluru. That would actually be awful. Like, I've been to Egypt, and I've been to Vietnam. Completely different heats. One's dry, one's tropical. Dry all the way. You do not want to be in tropical heat. You quite literally sweat through everything. It's like being in a sauna all the time. But people just live in it, and your legs chafe, and your hair's always wet because you're sweating, and it's just, it's just like, yeah, it's like being permanently under a small bath. You wake up, it's warm. You go to sleep, it's warm. 2 in the morning, it's warm. It's like permanently living in a glass of lukewarm water, like all the time. It's yucky. Shout out to all my Vietnamese fans. Love you guys. How you do it, I'll never know. I guess you'd get used to it, or at least like you'd like acclimate to the weather, but you'd have to be there for a hot minute. I was there for what, 2 weeks? Alright, back on topic. Animals. I would love to at least be an animal with a pretty decent lifespan. Even like a dog, like 15 to 20 years. If I was just, like exceptionally good. That's pretty sweet. Maybe not like a tortoise, like a Galapagos tortoise. They can live to like 100. What do you even do as a tortoise? That'd be so boring. You literally struggle under your own weight. You just walk around and you're like, eh, eh. Seen that video of the tortoise that hates black shoes and it like headbutts them? There's also that Japanese guy that has a pet tortoise. I forget its name, but it has like a little hat and he's had it for like over 40 years or something like that. Alright, moving on. Let's talk about pets. Pets are awesome. The only pet I wish I had, but also at the same time, like, I wouldn't really want is a pet snake. because apparently snakes can't convey emotion or have feeling. So while you may love a snake, a little like spaghetti rope that just hangs out with you, they see it no different as to just existing. When you're sitting on a bus, that's what it'd be like to have a pet snake. They're just looking out the window. They don't care where they are. But man, I can't lie. Snakes are probably the coolest pet on the planet. One of my friends growing up had a pet snake. It's the coolest thing ever. It just kind of rolls around, keeps licking the air. I don't know why they do that. Yeah, pet snakes are up there. Pet fish, I would never understand. Having a pet snake is just like having a TV in your room that constantly displays one image. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't even look at you. It just swims left and right. Or maybe it goes down. Or maybe it looked at you for half a second. Go tap the glass. Maybe it'll swim away slightly fast. Bro, fish suck. Don't get a pet fish. Get something way cooler. Get a pet frog. Get a pet... I don't know. Get a pet chicken. Get something more unique. Me personally, I have a cat and a dog. I've been through about 8 fish when I was a kid. Most of them died. One of them got fish cancer. One drowned. You know, it's an awful sight. And my mum had to bury all of them in the backyard. It was very gruesome. Yeah, just leave the fish alone. A goldfish survives, what, 2 weeks? If that. Leave the fish alone. If you listening to this are going to get a pet, go out and get a pet bird. At least birds are cool. Like cockatoos. They're literally children. Cockatoos are arguably the coolest pet bird to have. Like, yeah, you can get your budgie or your parrot. They're okay. I don't really like parrots. One bit my finger through the through the cage because I was messing with it, and it really hurt. Yeah. Pet birds are overrated unless it's a cockatoo. Just get a dog, get a cat. There's always like 2 sides to that. You ever heard the saying that people that own like pet dogs, they always kind of look like their dog? Scarily accurate. Cats are cool too. Cats I feel like for a lot of people are a lot more hit or miss than a dog, because a dog is like universally happy. Unless it's above the age of like 15, or it's just naturally like a bitch. Dogs love just about everyone. Cats take a lot more warming up. They're a little skittish. They're a little like very, very hesitant. Cats are a quality investment. If I was to recommend a cat to someone, just get an orange cat. Orange cats know what they want. On the same topic of pets, let's talk about pet names. I feel like pet names is a very, very, very interesting topic of conversation, because you either have like the stock standard names, like, oh wow, you got a black cavoodle, what are you gonna name it? Coco? Very, very boring. Very boring. Ah, yes, you got a golden retriever, let's name it Archie. Wow. Wow. Name it something cooler than that. I just got a kitten. It's black and has white feet. I'm gonna call it Mittens. Wow. Insert wall of Buzz Lightyear. Name it something cool. If you get a pet, give it a human name. That would be a lot more interesting. Like, yeah, imagine you invite someone over for like the first time, and you're just like, yeah, I want you to meet Ian. I'm like, oh wow, cool, yeah, I can't wait to meet Ian. Out rolls a cat. Like, yeah, this is Ian. Yeah, this is I need you to meet my buddy Frank. Yeah, I need you to meet Jessica. And you're like, oh wow, okay, yeah, sure. I don't know why I gave it all very generalist white person names. You do something cooler than that. Yeah, I want you to meet Letitia, and it's just a white chihuahua that rolls out from your room. See, that's way more interesting. At least name it something cool. I've always thought if I was to get a dog, like by myself, I would name it Bowser. And it would be the coolest dog in the entire world. It'd be cooler than all of your dogs. Dogs? Dog. It would be the coolest dog universally, because my swag plus his swag creates like an unfathomable amount of swag. It would be like hard to calculate. It'd be like Broly from Dragon Ball. It would break the scanner. So anyone listening to this, if you get a pet fish within the next week, please name it the back of your Wi-Fi router. Just give it the model number or the barcode. Pet lizards. Pet lizards are also pretty cool. I've had a lot of friends have pet lizards. I had to take care of one for like 5 days one time a couple years ago. Very scary. I overfed it grasshoppers and I thought I was going to kill it, but it was fine. Lizards kind of do their own thing. I think the whole heat lamp thing is really cool. They just kind of sit in permanent heat for as long as they want. But in that same thing, lizards don't do a whole lot either. At least they kind of look at you and can like interact, sort of like that lizard that waves. But if you're gonna get a pet that like interacts with you on a more like reasonable level. Don't get a pet that you just look at every so often. That's boring. I want a pet that hugs me back and can understand basic human emotion. I don't want a pet that it looks like I'm looking at it through a like a menagerie. Like, wow, yes. Here's my Tasmanian fighting fish named Lionel. Watch him swim back and forth. Ooh, invigorating. No. No. Give me a French bulldog that has breathing problems and can barely support its own weight. Named like Jamiroquai. That's a dream pet right there. Oh, okay. No one steal that Jamiroquai idea. That's mine. I'm gonna patent it first. Patent pending. I'm a firm believer in the concept that like no pet is naturally aggressive. I think that's a very like weak point to make. Like, oh yes, your German Shepherd attacks children. I wonder where it got it from. You know, it's like there's no naturally aggressive dog breed. If your dog is aggressive, it's either poor training or it's like mishandled. And there's always that argument about pit bulls, especially, that pit bulls and all the bully breeds are like naturally aggressive and not safe around families. I've met some of the best dogs I've ever met are pit bulls or bully breeds or like staffies. It's purely a training thing. Like, yeah, that 4-year-old pit bull named Skittle Muffin that just tore apart your 2-year-old neighbor, that was poor teaching. Especially if you know your dog is naturally aggressive. Well, no, wait, no, I just completely. Especially if you know that your like the dog breed you want has a tendency like that, and that is arguably called an aggressive breed. You need to put in the work to not make it. Like, don't fit the stereotype. Can you have pet raccoons? I need to look into that. That would be awesome. Absolutely, bro. It sucks. The closest thing Australians have to a raccoon is a possum, and possums 90% of the time are just like not even present. If you ever turn your flashlight on near a possum, they freeze up and they stare at you. They don't do anything. I remember I was on a camping trip with some friends like last year, and one of these friends is like a survivor, not a survivor, like an outdoors person, and they're known for like camping or whatnot. And she was feeding a possum, I forget what it was like bread or some shit, and then it ran up, grabbed the bread, then bit her finger, and then walked away. Oh, alright, epic, no win today, that sucks. Well, I thought the run was going well, turns out it didn't. That's alright, we'll get it back next time. Yeah, I think this is a new segment I'll do quite commonly, is just like talk about a topic that I'll spin for. It's like gambling. Ah, yes. So yeah, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, that's about it. Just animals, whatnot. So many cool animals. Too many to mention. Yeah. Like I said earlier, put in the comments your favorite animal, and peace. Peace. Bye, guys. See you later. Later.